Good evening. The time now is 11 p.m. Our top stories. Gabungan Parti Sarawak announced that it is willing to work with anyone but Pakatan Harapan. Local leaders rebut 1 billion ringgit loan claims and Putin declares martial law. Hello there, you're now with me, Douglas Elliott, and this is TVS Nightline. Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has unveiled the PETROS roadmap that is slated to be the game changer for Sarawak by 2030. This includes 4 new gas hubs located in Miri, Bintulu, Samalaju and Kuching. Now, through these hubs, Sarawak will be able to gain access to sufficient gas supply and clean energy. The Premier spoke during the 5th anniversary dinner of PETROS in Kuching. And with us right now is Hafizur Muzamir, who is on site to give us more insight on the announcement. Take it away, Hafiz.
Thank you, Douglas. As you have said, there will be 4 new gas hubs located in Samalaju, Kuching, Miri and also Bintulu. However, 2 of them play an important part in securing energy security. Miri Hub first project is the 400-watt power plant, while in Samalaju, PETROS will lay a gas pipeline and work together with SEB to build a power plant. This is critical to complete Samalaju as a heavy industrial zone. Additionally, this project will require an investment of around 6 billion ringgit, and the total predicted investment projection is around 65 billion ringgit, inclusive of downstream value-added industry. That's all the update that I have for now. Be sure to stay tuned to TVS for more updates on this matter. Hafizur Muzamir and also Keong for TVS. Back to studio.
Thank you so much, Hafiz. Now, Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS is open and willing to work with any coalition or peninsula-based coalition parties, with the exception of Pakatan Harapan PH or the Democratic Action Party DAP. Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB Vice President Dato' Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said this is due to the many stalled projects and the mistreatment during their reign.
We are close to the other parties except Pakatan Harapan. It says that we are close to Barisan Nasional, we are close to Perikatan Nasional, we are in the government together, PN Plus, before this. So, we will see how it goes lepas ini. Tapi kemungkinan tidak dengan DAP.
Nonetheless, Karim said the final decision to accept any offer to form a new government coalition will be at the hands and wisdom of our top leader, adding that the new government requires political stability and a strong administration.
Ya, kita biarkan semua ini kepada pimpinan atasan kita. Kita ada Premier dalam GPS, gabungan 4 parti, semua pemimpin-pemimpin atasannya ada badan dia sendiri. Mereka akan menentukan arah tuju. Siapa yang akan bersama kita sokong, kita rapatkan untuk menguatkan, to create that stability. Karena untuk meneruskan pentadbiran yang memerlukan kestabilan politik dengan jumlah yang cukup banyak daripada GPS, dan saya percaya, I'm very confident that GPS will have a landslide win.
Still on politics, PBB Vice President Dato' Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah expects Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS to field 12 new faces to contest in G15. He said young candidates and women have been listed.
Saya mengatakan tempoh hari bahawa anggapan saya 30%, tidak kurang daripada 30%. Saya berkatakan begitu kerana pada pilihan raya yang lepas, PRU 14, kita hanya memenangi 19 kerusi daripada 31 kerusi. Ini berartinya kita kalah 12 kerusi. Jadi kalau PRU ke-15, at least 12 muka baru. Karena kita kalah 12. 12 daripada 12 out of 31 is at least 1/3. 1/3 means 30%. That is why I use that 30%. But I know some people were saying, wah Karim, he override the prime premier apa itu, dia berani cakap. I'm using logic.
Several local leaders came forward to retaliate against allegations made by DAP Sarawak Chairman Chong Chiang Chen in regard to the 1 billion ringgit loan repayment for the repair of dilapidated schools in Sarawak. Among those who have voiced their disappointment include Chief Political Secretary to the Premier, Fazruddin Abdul Rahman, who said that Sarawak was given preferentially harsh treatment. In a statement, he said Chong's statement can be described as ill-conceived and insensitive to the needs of the people of Sarawak. The Tupong Assemblyman stressed that the responsibility to repair dilapidated schools is by the federal government under the 9th schedule of the Federal Constitution, and that Sarawak government's action in demanding the federal government to repair the schools in the state is justified. In addition, Fazruddin claims that Chong's explanation that the federal government has to cut red tape and give Sarawak preferential treatment to channel the 1 billion ringgit as a direct grant is itself fact-twisting. Meanwhile, Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu Youth Chief Miro Simu chimed in with the same opinion, noting that it is petty of the then Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng to demand the repayment of the debt. Similarly, PBB Deputy Youth Chief Luka Nisman Awang Soni regarded Chong's action as a whitewashing attempt to absolve Guan Eng and the then Pakatan Harapan federal government of their own shortcomings in assisting Sarawak, and urged Chong not to mislead the people of Sarawak on the issue. Russia's President Vladimir Putin declared martial law in 4 of its occupied regions, including Kherson, Luhansk, Donetsk, and Zaporizhia, prompting civilians to flee the area before it becomes a combat zone. Though Russia claimed these regions as its territory, Ukraine, however, has been successful in its advance.
In addition, in today's situation, I believe it is necessary to give additional powers to the heads of all Russian regions. A relevant decree has also been signed today. The top officials of the subject of the Federation must pay attention to implementing measures designed to ensure the safety of the people, the security and anti-terrorist protection of critical facilities, and the maintenance of public order.
Many believe the move is part of a series of countermeasures announced by Putin in order to counter several defeats by the Ukrainian forces since the start of September. Putin also announced a measure that restricts the movements of people in 6 regions nearby Ukraine, namely Krasnodar, Belgorod, Bryansk, Voronezh, Kursk, Rostov, and territories of Crimea and Sevastopol, which Russia seized from Ukraine in 2014.
The task of ensuring a special military operation are handled not only by the relevant security agencies, but also by the entire system of state administration. There is a need to continue working to improve coordination. I am instructing the government to draft a presidential decree on the creation of a special coordination council, and the council will be headed by the head of the cabinet of ministers and will include deputy prime ministers, representatives of law enforcement agencies, the social and economic sectors of the government, the presidential administration, and the state council.
A bigger Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS representation of MPs in Parliament will provide a stronger voice for Sarawak to defend and demand its rights. Now, this can be achieved if Sarawakians give their full support to GPS in all 31 parliamentary seats in the coming 15th general election, including winning back lost seats in the last polls.
Sarawak United People's Party SUPP President Dr. Sim Kui Hian said the GE15 should be used as a platform to show how powerful Sarawak is.
This is, a chance for Sarawak to show that we are united, we are so powerful, right? That why was it so powerful? All the time you are powerful, West Malaysia is more powerful than you. Now is a time in which if we are powerful, then we can get whatever all to us. You know, for so many years we cannot get that. Now Now we are getting it. I mean, if you look at it closely, we never had Sarawak Coast Guard. You know, we never have Sarawak own office in Singapore. We never had Petroleum Sarawak. Tonight, Petroleum Sarawak, only 5 years after it started, it's a $1 billion company. And this $1 billion company means what? It's 100% Sarawak government, 100% every Sarawakian.
He pointed out that Sarawakians must continue to support the ongoing efforts made by GPS government, which have reaped several successes lately. Commenting further, Dr. Sim said this will be an ongoing effort by the ruling coalition on reclaiming the state's rights as enshrined in the Malaysia Agreement 1963 or MA63.
With the Election Commission EC to decide on key dates for the 15th general election tomorrow, October 20th in Putrajaya, much speculation arises regarding nomination and polling dates among voters. Now, Dr. Sim reiterated that the general election has to be held within 60 days from October 10th, the date the parliament was dissolved. Dr. Sim said whichever dates are decided, it should not be a deterrent, and instead be used as an opportunity for whichever party to do their best for GE15.
As such, Dr. Sim pointed out that there should be no speculations on nomination dates and assured voters to wait patiently to cast their votes.
I mean, none of us, like the rest of us, can only guessing. And what we know is they probably, by law, what requiring is even the nomination by law, after the nomination date, by law, you need to be 10 days. So minimum 10 days, but it can be longer. I mean, after the tomorrow, right, our SPR decide, even by law, they must have X number of days before allowed nomination. That one we know. So the rest, right, we wait for tomorrow lah. I mean, it's, because it's so soon. I mean, otherwise, there's no point to speculate. What we know is within 60 days, it must have an election, you know, and so we are coming. I mean, because dissolved on the 10th, on the 20th, the SPR's bincang, and then with that, then they will have a date for nomination. They will have a date for undi.
He said this during an interview on Malaysia Decides on TVS on Wednesday, October 19. When asked about SUPP's aspirations for the next 3 to 5 years, Dr. Sim answered that his party and GPS are in line. Rather than being just SUPP's policy, it will be under GPS's policy.
SUPP alone not powerful enough because SUPP, even winning all the parliamentary seats, only 7 seats, but we need the 31 seats to go with us so that instead of just SUPP philosophy, is GPS philosophy.
Dr. Sim continued by saying GPS knows what issues to prioritize to benefit its people.
We need every Sarawakian to work together with us because the political party cannot do it by itself. You know, just like, yes, our premier can say, okay, I approve this project, producing hydrogen next year, 1,500 engineers. That was depending on everybody had to buy in, you know, and so what we want is we are very clear by 2030. There's no question that Sarawak is the #1 GDP, most prosperous in Malaysia. Number 2, Sarawak will share all the resources, inclusive, and that's why we start our sovereign fund. You know, and then Sarawak will be environmentally sustainable so that we contribute to the world.
Thus, he urged Sarawakians to work together with the state government to realize the vision set to be a developed state by 2030.
Sarawak United People's Party (SUPP) has finalized its list of candidates to contest in its traditionally held seats. Its president, Dr. Sim Kui Hian, remains mum on the names, but said that the list will be forwarded to Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS chairman, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. SUPP is expected to field candidates for GPS in Bandar Kuching, Stampin, Serian, Sarikei, Sibu, Lanang and Miri in the upcoming 15th general election.
We are close to finalizing. Premier will call. Premier will call everyone because after tomorrow, then we know when is a nomination. You cannot have no candidates. I mean, now it's too many candidates. You do not know which one to be the chosen candidates. Of course, I am very happy to be in this situation. From SPP side, we have finalized, but we need our chairman of the GPS to finalize it because he is only one under the SPR to have the authority to issue the Watika. Because the rest of us don't have the authority to issue the Watika.
More to come after the break. 2 individuals stabbed in public in Germany, and plus, in his first address, Hong Kong leader aims to attract global talent. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned.
Kalau nak apa-apa lagi beritahu ya. Kau ni dah
Welcome back. The nature of social media allows users to receive quick content even in real time and easily broadcast to target groups and audiences. Therefore, contesting parties in GE15 need to improve on their social media strategies, and is now a vital feature in winning the election.
Senior Fellow of the National Council of Professors, Dr. Janeri Amir, said that political leaders have to accept that in this digital democratic era, new media is an important tool to win votes. With the influx of voters who are 18 years old and are tech-savvy, political parties have to strengthen their social media presence. He continued by saying that interactive content that is easy to understand would appeal well to the youth. Janeri also admitted that using such a medium would also invite slander and rumors and spread of fake news to undermine their political rivals. Thus, he warned that candidates and parties should be on the alert and take immediate action to counter any untoward allegations with facts and data. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, most candidates during the state election in Malaysia have opted to use online methods and social media to promote themselves in November last year.
Incentives will be given to members of Rakan KPDN HEP, said Deputy Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, Dato' Rosal Wahid, in an effort to revive the club. Rakan KPDN HEP is an important club that acts as a bridge between the ministry and the public, which currently touts more than 811,000 members. However, only 10% of the members are currently actively channeling information that concerns consumers across the country.
Kita nanti mungkin kita bagi insentif, mungkin siapa yang banyak lapor kita bagi e-wallet ke, atau bagi apa-apa token ke apa-apa saja untuk dia laporkan kepada kita. Dan ini sebenarnya meringankan beban terutamanya penguat kuasa kita, sebab kita ada lebih kurang 2,200 saja penguat kuasa seluruh Malaysia. Jadi nak kontrol seluruh negara rasa bukan satu tugas yang mudah.
Rosal added with active participation by members of Rakan KPDN HEP will ensure the rights of consumers are protected, which at the same time will increase the quality of service delivered by the ministry.
Kembara
You're watching TVS Nightline. Now in foreign development, a 25-year-old Somalian man slashed 2 people to death while seriously injuring another in Germany. German authorities went on a hot pursuit and shot the assailant and is currently being treated at the nearest hospital. Motives behind the attacks were still ongoing.
As to why the perpetrator carried out the attack and what the background to this is, we can't say as there is no reliable information about the motive yet. Investigations are still ongoing. The Criminal Investigation Department is working on that. The perpetrator is a 25-year-old man who is a Somali national. To what extent nationality plays a role in the proceedings and the crime, we cannot say at this point.
In his first policy address since assuming office in July, Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee rolled out billion-dollar plans in an attempt to attract foreign talents to come to work in the city island. Part to restore the city's competitiveness, the Talent Pass scheme also aims to solve the brain drain issue plaguing the financial hub. Hong Kong has lost thousands of residents since the pandemic started. The government will set aside 30 billion Hong Kong dollars, or the equivalent of 18 billion ringgit, to attract businesses to the city.
We will launch the Top Talent Task Scheme for a period of 2 years. Eligible talents will include individuals whose annual salary reached 2.5 million Hong Kong dollars or 1.5 million ringgit or above in the past year, as well as graduates from the world's top 100 universities with at least 3 years of work experience.
Meanwhile, under the talent attraction schemes, foreigners who buy a residential property and become permanent residents will be able to apply for a refund of buyer's stamp duty and new residential stamp duty for the first property. Lee became the city's leader in July and faces multiple challenges to restore its fortune as a financial hub after several years of upheaval that resulted in it losing grounds against regional rivals like Singapore. US and Mexico recently announced a new policy that expels and denies immigrants entry to the US via land crossings. As a result, more than hundreds of immigrants are now stranded in the Mexico border town of Ciudad Juarez as the numbers continue to rise.
Many of the immigrants, which comprise of Venezuelans, have been returned to Mexico since the policy began last week. A mother of 2 girls was detained for 3 days by the U.S. authorities before being deported back to Mexico.
They detained us for 3 days and they threw away their clothes. We were left without clothes, without anything. I am here with my girls. We are sad and heartbroken because we cannot enter the U.S. They closed access to the U.S. to all Venezuelans. My husband is there and I cannot enter to see him.
That is not the case for Yen Briseno, who now hopes to stay in Mexico with her family to have a better life quality.
I don't care if it is here or there. I just want a better life quality for my daughters so they can study. I want to work a lot. I want a job for my husband and to go onwards. Have a better life quality. That is all I ask from this country if I'm here. Only God knows why he does things.
In the south of Mexico, the National Migration Institute has set up tents to help immigrants to obtain immigration papers. U.S., however, due to the strained relationship with the Venezuelan government, has a hard time expelling the latter's citizen, which allows them to file for asylum in the U.S. More than 6.8 million Venezuelans have fled their country since 2014, but in recent months, many of them have been streaming north toward the U.S.
And finally, U.S. President Joe Biden, under pressure of a high inflation, sought to mobilize his left-leaning base on Tuesday by promising to sign a law to codify abortion rights in January if Democrats control the legislature next year. Biden's Democrats could lose control of the House of Representatives and possibly the Senate in November elections. The president is trying to rally the party and its supporters around abortion rights, which were sharply curtailed by the Supreme Court's decision nearly 4 months ago to overturn the landmark Roe v. Wade ruling.
I want to repeat it again. The only sure way to stop these extremist laws that are put in jeopardy women's health and rights is for Congress to pass a law. And I've said before, the court got Roe right nearly 50 years ago, and I believe Congress should codify Roe once and for all. Right now, we're short a handful of votes. If you care about the right to choose, then you got to vote. That's why in these midterm elections are so critical to elect more Democratic senators to the United States Senate and more Democrats to keep control of the House of Representatives. And folks, if we do that, here's the promise I make to you and the American people. The first bill that I will send to the Congress will be to codify Roe v. Wade. And when Congress passes it, I'll sign it in January, 50 years after Roe was first decided the law of the land.
During his remarks, the president also cited a part of the Supreme Court ruling that said women are not without electoral or political power, suggesting they could mobilize and elect lawmakers to guarantee abortion rights. Democrats currently have a slim majority in the House and control the 50-50 Senate through Vice President Kamala Harris's ability to cast tie-breaking votes. Passing such a bill could be difficult, even if Democrats hold onto their slim Senate majority, as that chamber's rules require 60 of the 100 senators to agree on most legislation.
TVS's new reality program, Guitar and Jiwa, will be broadcasted live starting this Friday, 21st October. Now, don't forget to catch the show every Friday, beginning with the Bar and Jiwa capsule at 7:30 p.m., followed by Guitar and Jiwa live concert at 8:45 p.m. Now, the public is also invited to catch the concert live at MBKS Stadium in Kuching. For more information, follow Guitar and Jiwa's social media at linktree/Guitar and Jiwa. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. My name is Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching.